Today we're going to thread the Magnolia 7330 Janome New Home sewing machine, which is also labeled right there. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to take your cap off your spool pin and put your thread onto your spool pin. The next step is to take your thread and go right along the outer edge of this thread guide like a sideways L. You're going to bring it straight down. This is for something else, and you can see that the thread is coming off, going around here to thread the bobbin. We won't be doing this today. Then, after you bring your thread along the thread guide, you're going to come all the way down until you reach number 2, which is a U with an arrow pointing up. So you're going to take your thread and go all the way down and up, kind of like a little maze that we're doing here. Then bring the thread back up again, and we're going to go around the take-up lever, which is number 3, and it's going over from the right side over to the left side, so you really want to follow the arrows when you're threading the machine. You are then going to come back down again, and there's a number 4 kind of with a squiggly line right here, because underneath there's a thread guide that you have to hook the thread into. Let me see if I can show you that. And it's right here, and the thread is going to hook right behind there, and you're going to hook it in, and then you're going to take your thread and come along the outer edge of the another thread guide here where you're hooking the thread into place. And then number 6 is threading your needle. We're going to begin threading the sewing machine. The first thing you're going to do is take the cap off the spool pin. Once you've taken the cap off, you are then going to take your spool of thread and place it onto the pin. We want to make sure that our thread is coming off the thread, off the spool of thread going towards the back of the machine. Then you want to put your cap right on so that when you're sewing, your thread's not going to fly off the machine. So it keeps your thread in place, so make sure you don't forget to take the put the cap back on. The next step is to take your thread and go along the thread guides. The first thread guide is right here. You're going to take the thread and go all the way around it like a sideways L, and you just take the thread and then just follow the arrow and bring it straight down. So you're going to take your thread and just follow that all the way down until you reach number 2. When you get to number 2, you're going to take your thread and just swing it up, follow the arrows, and take it to number 3. So we're going to go all the way up until you hit number 3. Now you need to take the thread, start on the right side, and swing it around the take-up lever, and then take your thread and pull toward you until it clicks right into that opening. So it has to click in there, otherwise it will not sew correctly. Then you're going to take and bring the thread all the way back down again till you hit number 4. Now number 4 has that little squiggly thread guide behind it. And let's see if I can see it without having to tilt the machine back. You're going to take your thread and you're going to hook it right behind this little lever. And it just pretty much just hooks in place. Actually, there's really nothing, it just goes behind that little lever, and you can kind of see it there. And then number 5 is you're going to take the thread and you're going to hook it right at the thread guide at number 5. Just hooks right in there. And number 6 is threading the needle. Now when you thread the needle, you may need to clip the ends and then take the thread, and mine has some little frayed edges, so I will need to clip that. Now, when you thread your needle, you got to make sure that you put your finger right in this little loop so that when you are pulling the thread doesn't wrap around the needle. So we're going to take and pull this thread, if I can reach it. And you want to make sure, keep your finger right in front of that. I can't right at this moment, but you want to make sure that the threads do not twist around the needle, because if it does, it may not sew properly for you. You don't want it to wrap around this needle. It just needs to go down and straight through and to the back.